안녕하세요. Hello. My name is Elizabeth Kim, and today I'm going to be discussing something very special to Korean culture, Hanboks. Hanboks are treasured in Korean culture as it symbolizes history, celebration, and grace. I look forward to sharing this information with you as I find that Hanboks are true works of art that embody the resilience of Koreans. In this presentation, I will discuss the definition of Hanbok, current relevance, the history of Hanboks, the style and composition of Hanboks, as well as their color and pattern meanings. I'll finish this presentation by comparing formal wear in the USA to formal wear in South Korea. So you might be asking, what is a hanbok? Well, hanboks are the traditional attire of Korean people. In fact, the term hanbok is literally translated into Korean clothing. So, if you look at the photo provided, this adorable little girl is wearing a hanbok. A hanbok is a traditional Korean costume for both men and women of all ages and social classes, as shown in the pictures provided. Hanboks are formal wear, recognized for their unique silhouette and vibrant colors. They also come in various shapes, colors, designs, and patterns. The purpose of hanboks is to express the richness and softness of clothes on the body. They are not tight-fitting, rather loose to highlight gracefulness. So this traditional ensemble is a timeless outfit that every Korean person has worn at least once in their lives, me included. In modern day, hanboks are traditionally worn by Koreans during Korean holidays, celebrations, and special events. For example, Chuseok, which is the harvest festival that happens between September and October. Also for weddings, birthday celebrations like Tor, which I will discuss later, life milestones, and even funerals. Hanboks are currently significant because they are often used as art. The fashion behind hanboks speak the core values of Korean culture, which shows respect to tradition while also demonstrating innovation and progression. Hanboks are shown as art as they are now seen on runways. This is because hanboks throughout history have always made a statement. So much so that they have appeared in current mainstream entertainment. You might have seen them before. Let's discuss in the next slide. Have you ever heard of Blackpink? Well, if you're a fan of K-pop, you will know that Blackpink is a 4-member girl group formed by YG Entertainment. Their music has literally taken over the world and not just in your area. If you can see on the slide, there are 2 photos of women wearing different hanboks. Let's talk about the photo on the left. This photo is of the ladies of Blackpink in the music video called How You Like That. The ladies are wearing modernized costume versions of hanboks. Although their outfits do not resemble the classic hanbok style, their ensembles definitely depict how tradition can mix with contemporary by being a form of art and fashion. If you look at the photo on the right, you will see a snapshot of 2 girls wearing a more traditional modern hanbok. This shot is from the Netflix original movie To All the Boys I've Loved Before, P.S. I Still Love You. This photo shows the main character, Lara Jean, and her little sister Kitty. They had just got dressed up in their traditional hanboks to go visit their grandparents' house to celebrate Lunar New Year. It's really cool to see the Korean culture represented in mainstream media. Since we now understand how hanboks refer to traditional Korean clothing, let's talk history. Hanboks have been appraised for the past 2,000 years. The 3 kingdoms of ancient Korea all wore hanboks as daily attire. It is interesting because each dynasty has their own special trends for the hanboks of their time. You can see in the photo provided how the general hanbok is the same, but each decade adds something unique to it. The general look and concept of hanboks have been consistent throughout history, like the light materials, vibrant colors, and roomy silhouette. Hanboks were pioneered during the Goguryeo Kingdom. The Goguryeo Kingdom was from 37 BCE to 668 CE. Hanboks were initially the traditional clothing of royalty, and eventually it became the daily attire for every Korean person. It even acted as a tool for social class classification. The colors, designs, and material classified the individual's gender, age, marital status, and social ranking. This is important because social hierarchy is really prevalent in Korean culture. For example, the royal families wore truly distinctive hanboks crafted with the highest quality materials like satin and silk, while the common folks wore hanboks made from cotton and hemp. You can see in the picture provided all the differences between the men's hanboks in relation to their societal role. The most common design that are still found today are the styles from the Joseon dynasty, the last Korean dynasty that reigned from 1392 to 1897. In this photo, you can see the differences of when the hanboks was first made in comparison to the Joseon dynasty and comparison to the modern style. You can notice that the jackets were initially longer and then it became shorter, and now it still remained. Now that we have talked about hanboks, the next thing I want to discuss is the composition of hanboks. The fundamental structure of hanboks have always stayed the same. The jeoguri, which is jacket, the baji, which is pants, and the chima, which is skirt. The inspiration behind hanboks was the Confucian style dress code. The garments were chosen to be light material so that it can be worn daily. It also had a roomy skirt or pants and a top that ties to facilitate free movements. Every garment highlights the richness and softness of clothes on the body. This led to design hanboks to create a delicate flow of lines and angles to resemble traditional Korean architecture. That's really cool. Maybe it'll be used for trivia one day. Okay. In fact, hanboks for both men and women have a unique silhouette of a bell, which means it has a slim top and wide bottom. Let's break down how the traditional men's hanbok is constructed. Thankfully, this graphic can efficiently inform us what the features are and how they look like. First, the men have the gat, which is a hat. Then they also have the turumagi, which is the overcoat worn over the jacket and the pants. The baji, of course, are the pants. And then they have the gochim, which are the silk shoes that have embroidered flower patterns. Now let's discuss how the modern men's hanbok is constructed. It is typically a two-piece set. The first piece is a jeoguri, again, which is a jacket, and then the jeoguri is large. It typically has two tones of colors which differ between the sleeves and the front. The second piece is baji, which again means pants. The pants are loose and not tight-fitting, and they are tapered in at the ankles. Sometimes modern men hanboks are a three-piece set. The third piece is called a peja, which is a short coat. This is typically a different color than the top itself, and it is embroidered with many patterns. Now let's explain the construction of the woman's traditional hanbok. Again, this photo explains and displays each feature of the hanbok very simply. First, there is a jeoguri, which is the jacket. It is a long sleeve jacket that makes up the upper quarter of the hanbok. These are tight-fitting and short. It typically cuts around mid-chest. The jeoguri is special because it is characterized by curved lines and sharp angles. Then there is the otgurum, which is a long fabric that is tied in a special way to create a bow in the front of the hanbok, where one side of the bow is actually droops down vertically. The next part is the chima. The chima is typically a floor-length skirt with pleats to create a 3D look. It has a wide waistband and it is placed over the chest to provide a volume. And it gives that bell curve look, and it guarantees more freeing movements. The modern women's hanbok is simply just the choguri and chima. Sometimes women can add the accessories like in the photos provided here. For example, the most common accessory is the norige. This accessory is an ornamental pendant, which means pretty and playful objects. The norige is composed of 3 parts. The first one is the main ornament, the second is the knot, the third is the tassel. These noriges are typically passed down from generation to generation and act as a good luck charm for wealth, eternal youth, and children. Now let's talk about the colors and patterns of hanboks. Colors and patterns are very significant in hanboks because they hold a lot of symbolism, like a lot of symbolism. As mentioned before, colors and materials symbolize a person's age, marital status, and ranking. To be even more specific, young children and girls wore bright colors. Unmarried women wore yellow choguris and red chimas. Married women wore green and red. Women with sons in the military often wore navy, and it just keeps going like that. The patterns are also symbolic. On hanboks, these are typically embellishments and patterns that are weaved onto the fabric. The type of embellishment reflects the type of event one is attending. For example, wedding hanboks have peonies to symbolize honor and wealth. They might also have pomegranates to symbolize fertility and lotus flowers to symbolize hope for nobility. Lastly, I will discuss how formal wear compares in the USA and in South Korea. To put it simply, Koreans typically wear hanboks for special occasions, and Americans typically wear fancy dresses or tuxedos for special occasions. In Korea, women typically wear a hanbok for their wedding. The wedding hanboks have embellishments of peonies, pomegranates, lotus flowers, and the colors are very, very vibrant. The bride's accessories represent the act of becoming a wife. There are many details of these hanboks which symbolize something greater than oneself, like a hope for the future and an appreciation for the past. Men also wear a wedding hanbok. The men's hanbok have embellishments to represent the act of becoming a husband. Their hanboks are also very vibrant in colors and filled with lots of symbolic patterns and prints. While in the United States of America, women typically wear ivory wedding dresses and veils. They also hold a floral bouquet. The wedding dresses come in various styles, silhouettes, and patterns, but the main importance of the wedding dress is that it is white because it represents purity. There's also a veil, and it holds various symbolic reasons. And then, of course, there's a floral bouquet. Men typically wear a suit with a tie or a bow tie to their wedding. They also have a flower from the bride's bouquet in the pocket of their tux. Another major difference between the two countries is the first birthday outfit. In South Korea, the first birthday of a Korean child is a huge celebration. It is highly valued in Korean culture as many gather together to celebrate. This birthday celebration is called a 돌 or a 돌잔치, and the celebration is focused on blessing the child with a prosperous future. The Korean children wear a hanbok for the celebration specifically, and it's called the 돌복. There are also specific colors and patterns and accessories for this ensemble. In the USA, the first birthday of an American child is also pretty big. Unlike the Hanbok, Americans don't have a specific birthday outfit. It is very typical for the outfit of the child to be chosen for them, like by their parents. And typically, many parents purchase like customized shirts for their baby. The customized shirts typically have the number 1 on it to celebrate and to share that it's their first birthday. In conclusion, today we discussed the importance of hanboks in South Korean culture. Hanboks were once daily wear and now it's formal wear for Koreans. Lately, renting hanboks have become very popular, especially among tourists in Seoul. Maybe one day we can all experience wearing a hanbok. What colors and patterns do you want on your hanbok? Let me know. And thank you so much for listening.